for Plang to attend, to see her one last time, but Plang never showed up. 13 years later, Plang had fallen seriously ill, but she refused to go to the hospital, knowing she couldn't afford it. Her health declined, worsened by the stress of an old lover persistently showing up at her apartment despite having a wife and children. The man was relentless, attempting to pressure Plang into rekindling their relationship. She finally confronted him, telling him to leave her life for good, threatening to call the police if he continued to harass her. Reluctantly, he left, but with a chilling promise to return. Exhausted and frail, Plang collapsed in her apartment and later woke up in a hospital bed. Upon realizing where she was, her first instinct was to leave, fearing the cost of the medical bills she couldn't pay. She got up to escape, but as she walked past the reception desk, she heard the name, Dr. wewa. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Out of both dread and curiosity, she hesitantly asked the receptionist if Dr. wewa was there. After checking, the receptionist confirmed there was a Dr. wewa Damrinkadeka, but not the one Plang knew, though it still left Plang shaken. As Plang stood there, overwhelmed by the possibility of facing wewa after so many years, she suddenly heard someone call her name. She froze. There, standing before her, was wewa, the friend she had left behind so long ago. Plang, trembling and unable to believe it was real, lost consciousness on the spot. When she regained consciousness, she found herself in a private hospital room. The first thing she saw was wewa standing by her side. 13 years, wewa whispered, tears in her eyes. 13 years, and this is how we meet again? Why are you like this? Plang, trying to suppress her emotions, awkwardly smiled. So, you finally became a doctor, she said, brushing off the question. She made up an excuse about not liking hospitals or their sterile smell and insisted that she was planning to rest at home. She deliberately avoided talking about her financial situation, feeling too ashamed to admit she had no money for the hospital bills. wewa wasn't having it. She asked if Plang had any family or someone to look after her. Plang, defensive as ever, claimed she was fine and old enough to take care of herself. That's when wewa dropped the news. Plang had contracted the H1N1 flu and needed to stay in the hospital for a few more days. Plang resisted, adamant about going home, but wewa pleaded with her to stay. Plang, too embarrassed to mention her inability to pay the medical fees, left the next morning, leaving only a note behind. wewa, I'm sorry, I can't stay. Hospitals just aren't for me. I'll contact you later and pay the bill when I can. I promise. In reality, Plang had no intention of returning. She had no money and feared the humiliation of being unable to pay. She did want to contact wewa again, but on her own terms, away from the hospital setting. Plang snuck back to her apartment, but as soon as she arrived, the man who had been pestering her was there waiting. He was relentless, continuing to harass her despite her repeated demands for him to leave her alone. At the same time, wewa, furious and worried after finding out Plang had escaped from the hospital, immediately went looking for her. When she finally tracked down Plang's apartment, she was heartbroken to see the state of her living conditions. It was a run-down place that didn't seem fit for anyone, let alone someone like Plang. As she approached, wewa saw the man trying to force Plang to go with him. Plang was yelling, trying to push him away, screaming that she didn't want to be the other woman anymore. Without a second thought, wewa rushed forward, shouting at the man to leave Plang alone. The confrontation was explosive. Plang, shaken and exhausted, collapsed once again into wewa's arms. This time, wewa wouldn't let her go. Holding Plang tightly, she whispered, "You're coming home with me." Despite all the years of pain and separation, wewa was determined not to lose her again. wewa seized the moment, rushing forward to confront the man and ordering him to leave Plang alone. He snapped back, "Don't you know this is between a husband and wife? Mind your own business." As he raised his hand to strike wewa, she stood her ground, daring him to follow through. The crowd began to stir, their shouts growing louder, and the man hesitated, unable to hit her. wewa threatened to call the police, forcing him to back down. By that point, Plang had collapsed again, and despite her weak protests, wewa insisted on taking her back to the hospital. "I love you. You need help," wewa told her. And soon after, Plang was admitted to a special room. Staying by her side, wewa convinced Plang to stay with her once more, taking her to a condo near the hospital. As they spent more time together, wewa confessed her feelings to Plang, and to her relief, Shang admitted that she felt the same. Determined not to lose her again, wewa made it clear that they couldn't waste any more time. 13 years had passed, and she needed Plang to make up for the years they had lost. Slowly, she began to seduce her, knowing that if she didn't take the lead, their relationship might never progress. They shared intimate moments, showering together, giving each other massages, and eventually, sleeping together. The next morning, wewa had to leave for the hospital, but promised Plang she'd be back by evening. As she prepared to go, wewa playfully grabbed Plang's hand, kissed her fingers, and teased, "How about we skip dinner? I'd rather have something else. But maybe dinner first." Flustered, Plang could only smile as wewa quickly excused herself, leaving with the promise that she wouldn't let Plang slip away again. Plang was left feeling as though wewa had completely captivated her heart. Later, while heading out to the mart, Plang ran into someone unexpected. Ek turned around and immediately recognized her, calling her name. Plang, caught off guard, called his name in return. Surprised to see her, Ek eagerly asked for her help in reconciling with wewa, explaining that wewa was pushing for a divorce. To Plang's shock, the condo they were staying in was actually wewa's marital home. Wewa had married Ek and was now trying to end their marriage, a relationship that had begun 13 years ago. Realizing her return had put her in the position of the other woman, Plang was devastated that wewa hadn't told her the full truth. She considered running away. Wewa chased after her, shouting, "Do you remember the promise you made to me?" Plang, confused, asked, "What promise?" wewa reminded her, "You said that if I became a doctor, you would give me anything I wanted." Saddened, Plang replied, "But everything has changed now. I have nothing left, and you're about to have everything." wewa looked her in the eye and softly said, "But I've figured out what I want." Plang hesitated before asking, "And what's that?" wewa smiled and answered, "I want you." What's next for wewa and Plang? Will they finally get the happy ending they deserve, or will new challenges drive them apart? Keep watching to find out. If I made any mistakes in this spoiler, I appreciate your understanding. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it to support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, so you're the first to know when the next episode drops. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Take care.